Hello, and welcome to another ALTTPR Season 3 Team Race League race here on the ALTTPR channel on Twitch. I am Worldwide Wimpy. I am joined by Old Man Sunshine for this race between the Long Shots and Hyrule Track and Field. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. This is the second matchup between the two teams. The Long Shots ended up falling to Hyrule Track and Field in their first matchup, represented by Jetters and MrScruffNinjaTuna for Hyrule Track and Field. Long Shots were represented by Tyler Salt and Arusta. I think that's how he pronounces it, Arusta. I don't know. I'm bad with names. Forgive me.
Close enough.
We're going to be starting this race here in about, 10-15 seconds or so. So we're going to be giving you lots of randomized action. Remember, you can watch the league all across our networks of ALTTPR League and the Speed Gaming channel. You can follow our runners with !R and !C in the Twitch chat. Our trackers today are going to be the wonderful Mindful Beast and Tyler Salt.
And we already have a mirror in the sanctuary.
Alright, sorry, I was having some technical difficulties with my screen as we see our bottom runners enter into the Uncle Well near Hyrule Castle. We find a heart on our dear old uncle who's taking a nap.
He stole his heart.
And some boots inside of that well chest. Early boots for our runners. I'm sure our top runners, Tabbycat and Arusta, are going to be heading over to their dearly departed uncle very, very shortly.
Thanks to that co-op share, they get to learn where that location is very quickly.
Now, you do bring up a good point. This is a co-op shared seed, which means our runners are going through the seed at the same time. They all have the same seed. They divide and conquer and find out wherever. As we see a Houlihan from MrScruffNinjaTuna over here, it's going to give him 225 rupees along with those boots to head into Kakariko Village to buy some bombs, perhaps turn in a bottle vendor. As Tabby decides, yeah, those boots are pretty important, I'm going to go get them now.
Yeah, the extra rupees will help a lot with that big Zora scam artist. Looks like Timp is headed over towards Sahasrara to see what's there.
Not a bad play. You can bonk or use those bombs to blow up a wall behind this old man, and they'll tell you where that green pendant is. It's in Thieves Town. And speaking of blind, we have a blind house check. We find powder and a glove.
Another plus of co-op is you can discuss with your teammate where to check and effectively check chests as twice as fast as you normally would.
As we found a shield behind the old man, a piece of heart in our bonk rocks, and we're getting a damn check from MrScruffNinjaTuna himself. We'll see what's behind that chest and underneath that water. A piece of heart so far.
Using that mirror to erase the blocks.
Some nifty tricks there. By pushing that block and using the mirror at the same time, you cancel out that block and you're able to walk on by with no problems. Nothing significant in the dam?
Yep, just some blueberries.
As we have an Eastern Palace dip and a mini Moldorm cave going on the bottom, we have the well in Kakariko and Blind's house on the very top. Nice bomb strats here from
Very nice.
Scruff Ninja, the Moldorms are dropping explosions as well, so he's going to be able to pick up some refill. Nothing so far, Mini Moldorm. Just some cash and a fire rod. Well, that's always nice to have early.
That's pretty hot. And fortunately, they won't have to go looking for that fire rod.
Outside the gloves and Blind's house, nothing so far in Kakariko outside of some money, maybe a little bit more explosions. We're going to get a library check and a race game.
With the glove and the mirror, logically, they're only a lamp away from Death Mountain and all the way up to Hera.
And so we get a peek into Ice Rod Cave.
Speaking of lamps...
There's that lamp in Eastern Palace Big Chest that does put all of Eastern but the back into logic. As we find just some cash in Ice Rod Cave. A blind pull of the race game from Arusta. And we're going to get a fake flipper here from ScruffNinja. $20 on the race game.
I do enjoy doing fake flipper with the... rather, I should say the walk-on water glitch with the boots.
Interesting here, ScruffNinja electing to skip Hobo and seeing the island. He's going to try and get these bombs and arrows in the waterfall ferry. I guess that makes sense. When you're in the boot state, you can then just go right back over to Lake Hylia and get that Hobo check a little bit later.
Yep, that is, I think, a normal way of running. Oh, we got a shovel there on Zora's Ledge. Looks like he's running back now.
And $20 in the vanilla big key chest of Eastern Palace. We see Arusta pick up their boots and a race game check from Tabbycat as Timp picks up his mirror. I'm going to assume he's going to go get his gloves and head up the mountain.
That's just what I was thinking.
As we see ScruffNinjaTuna head over to our favorite hobo underneath the bridge. Let's see what he has for us today. Normally it's a bottle. He has some arrows, some ammunition, just in case you need it.
Wonder where I see they picked up the powder probably in Kakariko, I'm guessing. I didn't see where it was, though.
Yeah, it was in, I do believe it was got powder. It might be on library, actually, because I know what the library check was.
Tabby heading for desert. Interesting move. This is worth it if there's progression here.
And with boots, it's really not that long of a run, no different than a flute and a walk. Just might as well. You're dividing and conquering anyway. If it's something good, you then just steer your partner over to it.
You're right. In co-op, it makes a lot more sense.
And it looked to be a red rupee.
I believe that was a heart, actually, but same color.
Yeah, I just saw the pointy bottom tip of it. I'm like, that could be a rupee. I'll take a guess. Chat will correct me if I'm wrong. That's fine, chat. I will gladly accept your critiques.
Chat is wise.
Only because they know better. As it looks like ScruffNinja is going to go ahead and head into their Eastern Palace dip. As we see Timp and Arusta from the long shots going over things we've already seen. Just want to remind you, you can follow these runners by hitting the !R command inside of Twitch chat. You can do the same thing for your commentating, your restream, and your trackers. By hitting the !C command inside of that Twitch chat, you'll get links to all of our stuff. We'd all gladly take a follow from anyone who enjoys us racing, putting ourselves through this abject misery that we call Link to the Past Randomizer.
What troll item do you think will be the problem today?
I love a troll red king.
Oh, yeah?
That just locks so many glitches that makes so many more dungeons more a pain in the butt.
I prefer a good old-fashioned ice rod hunt, personally.
I always get stuck with the ice rod hunts, and it's always in my last location.
Always.
as Arusta finds that fire rod inside a mini mobile.
I didn't think of this. The glove opens the back of escape. Good thinking by Tabbycat there.
Yep, and our runners with that fire rod are going to be able to go through the front of escape. They're going to get some magic. Lamp also, with fire rod, opens up Dark Cross, and it looks like there's going to be an item there today.
Yeah, they got both the map and the key in the back of escape, so Dark Cross definitely has something.
Yep, Tabby's going to have to navigate this with the fire rod. Going to have to kill one mouse for a small key. Not much in the way left of magic. Does get that small key. Going to have to be careful with your hearts. Going to be going through this in the dark once that fire rod torch goes out.
This is going to be tricky. I have difficulty with this.
As we see Timp going through trying to kill a mouse with a bomb. A lot trickier than you think. He does have the benefit of a lamp, so he's going to be able to see this pretty easily.
Red boomerang, it looks like. Oh, working on half a heart there for Timp. Oh no, he takes a death.
Well, that's something that you can go ahead and grab in the front. He has the mirror, so I'm sure he's going to save and quit, go back to his house, and nope, he just takes the save and quit here.
Wonder if he's going to do the front of the castle.
That's where I would be heading next.
Looks like he may be going up the mountain now.
That's also a possibility. You don't have a weapon. We don't know what our crystal and pendant layouts are. It's not necessarily needed to know what each thing is, but since it's all dungeons. But with no weapon, you can't complete Hera. So this is, at best, 5 items. At worst, you're locked and it's 3.
If you have enough bombs, you could technically get up Hera, but it's not a fun time. I don't know if logic accounts for that. No, actually it does. I've had a seed like that. Rescuing the old man from the mountain.
Let's see what he's got for us.
Those dead rocks will let him. Oh no!
Luckily, with the old man, you do go ahead and get respawned at the cave.
Just a bit of a delay.
Yep.
Looks like Mr. Scruff is tackling the front of escape.
It's more of a headache than it is an inconvenience.
Yep. Just $20 from the old man.
Gives you a nice tip for delivering him back to his safe home. I'm going to be checking on what's on Spectacle and inside of it, as it looks like Arusta's heading to buy bombs or check to see what's on Hylian Island. As we found our sharp object on Spectacle Rock up the mountain, and half magic. That's a pretty good Spectacle Rock there.
I do love half magic.
Yeah, this early in a seed, it's well worth it. You have Fire Rod. That just makes so many more things so much better and killable.
Definitely. And finding the sword is also a big plus.
So we see Scruff go on through the other side of escape. He also finds a sword. So that's Master Sword Lamp. Is this going to be an early Akko 1 play?
Ooh. There's no hammer or a moon pearl yet, so that is interesting. Or also Mitz could do it. So unless it's in Zelda's cell or up in the Hera area, I can't think of any other locations it could be. Well, I suppose it could be Zora.
Yes, it could be Zora where we find our progression. None of our runners are really close to that money value, though. I would imagine, though, with Scruff doing the hula hand, he's going to go, okay, I'll go somewhere where I can find farm up some roots, and I'll go do that after you clear them out.
Yeah, that's where Houlihan really comes in handy. Got the big key in the jail room in Hera.
Tim doing some exercise up the stairs. Could have taken a mirror there and gone right back to the entrance. Elects to take a death ward.
Whether intentional or not.
As Arusta finds that fighter sword in the escape sequence, we find a piece of heart as our first item in Hera. All eyes right now on Tim, seeing what we find inside the Tower of Hera, home to the Moldor, the second most RNG boss in the game. First, of course, being our Mothula fight. It looks like Scruff Ninja's going to farm up those roots and head over to Zora as his partner.
Yep. Oh, wait. We have a Dark World look on the map there. Got red in Swamp and blue in Mire.
Green Pendant Thieves Town and a red crystal in Turtle Rock. The rest of Dark World is blue crystals. So we're going to see a bomb jump here from Tim. Nicely executed. Just finds the map. So hopefully he finds an item on Moldorm and doesn't have to go do tile work. Though at this point, unless he finds hammer or hookshot, we're in a Magaseed if progression's not on Zora.
It's looking like it. Looks like Tabby is also charging Hera.
Again, makes perfect sense. It's fully in logic. You can knock it out.
It's also one of the few remaining places to check.
Yep.
And Scruff is heading for Zora. So we're going to get almost simultaneous checks on both Moldorm and Zora.
It looks like Arusta's going to go ahead and check Dark Cross real quick. We know it's a boomerang, but they do not. I would imagine a mirror and getting that Master Sword are going to be coming up next, and he's going to commit to the Aga 1 play before checking Zora.
And Timp took a fall from Moldorm, because Moldorm.
Yeah, he's a jerk. Especially with Fighter Sword, you gotta do 5 spins, and it's not fun. The more time you spend in this arena, the more time that Moldorm will just stay there and be angry and aggressive. As we just find arrows on our first friendly fish face guy.
So it's Hera or nothing.
Yep. As Moldorm goes down for Tim.
A key! A key!
Gotta have to check that basement. He's got the lamp, so he does have a fire source to unlock all of it.
Everyone pour some coffee.
As it looks like Arusta's going to be heading somewhere else. I don't know where he's heading. He might be heading up the mountain in case Hera has progress. He does need that sword off his spectacle if it is an Aga 1 seed.
Yeah, that's probably where they are headed.
And sure, Scruff Ninja just slightly ahead as Tabbycat takes a fall from that Troll Dorm.
Moldorm strikes again.
Tim dealing with the tiles here using pokes. You can, if he has the boots, which he does, you can hold out your sword and time a quick dash to keep your sword poked out and take care of the tiles. This is just as effective. There is no way to save time in this room. You have to wait for all of the tiles to come out and come and attack you, so...
Hammer!
Alright, that does give us East Death Mountain access.
That is not a nice place for that hammer. Could be worse, but still.
As we see Scruff Ninja going into what looks to be a bomb jump to cross over and go up into Hera. As Arusta is going through the dark rooms, taking the old man back to his home. Timp's going to be ahead of everyone else up this mountain, so we're going to be following him along. First doing Spiral Cave, going to hook over to the Paradox Cave. Is the cave in the bottom, in the middle, or at the top? We don't know. It's a mystery.
Yeah, until Tabby gets the hammer from the basement, they're going to be slightly behind. I'd say about 2 minutes or so.
Let's see, that tile room is, counting each tile, is approximately 2:15, and then you have to climb on over to the other side of the mountain, so yeah. Oof, Timp has no bombs. There is a vendor over to this other side, but you need bombs to get them, so...
Well, shoot.
Gotta hope there's bombs inside of Paradox Top. If not, you're gonna leave that to your partner saying, hey, yeah, no bombs, sorry.
It's very
There's
low.
one.
Whoa, that was luck.
Yeah, the Moldorms do have bombs to drop, but he has no other way to get into these chests. So.
Ouch.
There's a cape, a red cane,
There's your cane.
a piece of heart, and bombs. So unless Moon Pearl is in the bottom of Paradox here, this is an AGA 1 seed.
Hold your breath.
There is nothing else we can do in the overworld currently as we are.
Merle.
And Tim lets out a big sigh of relief. Whew.
That went all the way down to the last location there. That was a heck of a tease, Seed. Also very linear.
Yep, as Tabbycat is making their way through the Spiral Cave, they're going to get the good news that Moon Pearl is in Paradox Cave. Scruff Ninja not far behind. Arusta is going to be the last one to get that Moon Pearl. Or, I'm sorry, Scruff Ninja is. So, the Longshot's having a slight lead here with Dark World access.
It's a little funny. The hammer is in the cutscene chest, or rather the coffee break chest, whatever you want to call it. So they are forced to go there no matter what. And Timp is going to take us to the Dark World proper.
Just want to remind you that the ALTTPR League, both the Invitational and Open, are running all weekend long. You can check out more races later this evening on Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2. Make sure you go check those out. We've got matchups featuring the Vendrena Drifters versus the Immortals, the Bomb Squad versus Pug Trio, and CLW versus Wu-Tang Clan, all on Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2. As Timp enters into the Village of Outcasts, finds just a partial refund from our chess game vendor. Gonna check out C-shaped house, probably do Thieves Town into our brewery check, maybe head south if they find Titans. We'll see.
It's going to be really interesting to watch this as it unfolds, since we started with an extremely linear start. We'll see how it opens up in the rest of the game.
Now, we do have Magic Bat access super early. It is not in the greatest of locations to loop it in with Thieves Town or a Bottle Boy if you happen to find a bottle to see how he's doing. So, we'll see when any of our runners go ahead and check that Magic Bat.
They do have a mirror, which does help with the routing at the very least.
Yeah, that just entices me even more to put that off with Spit Chain. So.
Good point, actually. Question is, where are the mitts?
As we see Hyrule Track and Field basically getting that red cane 50 15 seconds apart, and they're going to save and quit and split up the Dark World. Arusta not getting the hammer? He must have taken a Moldorm fall or something because he was ahead of Scruff Ninja for a while.
And I didn't see any good items in the front of Thieves Town.
Fortunately, Blind takes the same amount of damage from any type of sword, so I'm sure with having Hammer, you're going to go ahead and do the rest of Thieves Town. Again, it's all dungeons anyway. Thieves Town itself, once you kill the boss, is going to have a green pendant for you as we get our first look into Hype Cave. A rupee cache, a heart, some bombs, flippers, and a rupee.
Flipper is quite important for, well, logically it's important for ice, but it's absolutely required for Swamp Palace.
Yeah, it would be a gutsy call here for Scruff Ninja to go ahead and say, well, I'm going to go dip Swamp real quick, but elects to go do probably Pod, maybe into a Pyramid check. Not a bad play at all. As Tabbycat heads into Skull Woods for a quick dip.
This is a good move with that fire rod.
Yeah, you can clear it if you feel brave enough with your armor and sword quality. You do have half magic fire rod.
Yeah, it is still iffy though. Good use of powder though.
As we're going to get lots of new checks going here. We've got, in the top left, Tabbycat going through Skull Woods. We have Scruff Ninja going through a pod dip. We have Timp finishing up Thieves Town here. And Arusta kind of just trailing behind a little bit right now. Now, the nice thing about co-op seats is that you can have someone well ahead and they tell their co-op partner, hey, you only need these chests to progress through this dungeon. And
exactly.
A lot of time can be made up by doing that.
And if you can divide the chest checking as best you can, then you can maximize your time. Haven't seen a lot of anything in Thieves Town. Arusta heading for Hype Cave, going to pick up those flippers.
Tabby makes her way to the back to kill a giant Mothman.
One interesting question that pops up when you don't have Hookshot, but you have everything else for Swamp Palace is the question if Hookshot is actually in Swamp Palace, along with the dreaded left side swamp.
It's always a question that nags in your head. I got my flippers, I have mirror, I have hammer. Do I go ahead and risk doing everything that I can?
I think Arusta was thinking about it there.
It's not a bad play. If you have Red King, you can make that left side a little bit faster. If you know the bomb strats to do diver down, that makes it a little bit faster. And that just gives you peace of mind knowing, hey, when we do find the hook shot, we can just go right to the back.
Tabby getting some good shots on the Moth.
And we have Blind down on Tim's side, only netting us a piece of hearts.
As soon as I say that, I cursed Tabby, unfortunately.
Yeah, that Mothman's just staying over on the right-hand side. Shoot. Ooh.
Sorry, I cursed it.
Blue Mail in the Harmless Heckway in our Palace of Darkness. And Arusta's not far behind. Scruff Ninja going into the pod dip.
And we picked up a bow and pod. I completely missed that.
That's super nice. That means you can go ahead and complete this dungeon if you're Scruff Ninja. As we see a hammer jump being performed by Scruff Ninja, gets it.
Nice.
Attempt, as we get a dig game here from Tim. Piece of heart in the dig game. We find $20. I think that was 20. It might have been more. In the cash in the bottom right chest, it would have been 50 because this is not hard item pool. So yeah, 50 roops in total in that bottom right. I'm sure we're going to see ScruffNinja go here right-hand side because he picked up that bow in the back of Pod. We got an AK-45 look. We got just 20 bucks. As Tabbycat is going to be farming up some magic to hopefully kill a Mothman in a second attempt.
There is a full pot of magic earlier in the dungeon, which I'm guessing they're not aware of, but it's in the middle part. It's very useful for times like this.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hike to go get that full magic. The fastest way to do that if you happen to die is actually go farm in that middle room, that first room with all the force switches. Mirror back, and that resets the whole room.
Did not think of that.
As Timp is heading through, gonna hit Hype Cave with those flippers. As we get a rematch, Mothula 2 Electric Boogaloo on Tabbycat side. Of course, the Mothula is the most hated boss in all of Randomizer. Unless you have all of the equipment and you are dressed to the nines, the spikes move in a random pattern, the moth moves in a random pattern, and if that pattern happens to line up, he does not get hurt. So he's very, very tricky to kind of do with Fighter Sword. It seems as though Tabby doesn't know the poke dash strats with Moth, where you can, if you get him on his first frame of movement and you hit him into the spikes, it does super hard damage onto him. But he's able to get him clean the second time around.
Nicely done.
For what is officially the second dungeon clear for Hyrule Track and Field.
Of note, having finished Thieves Town, Timp has the green pendant, so can turn that into Sahasrahla and see what they've got.
I'm sure he's going to loop that in with a Pod and Eastern clear with that bow and
Definitely.
Lamp being in Eastern. I'm sure that is where our runners are going to be going next, who are currently in Pod. Arusta having a hard time getting through those dark rooms without that lamp.
Timp dipping into Swamp to see what's there to find.
Again, not a bad play.
Agreed. Especially in co-op, it's good to have one person go for some of these locations.
As Tabbycat's going to be peeking into North Dark World, we have the Bumper Cave. You can loop in a Graveyard Ledge check with King's Tomb, and then head south into the village, get whatever it is that your co-op partner said is down there, and progress forward after that.
Could also work since they have... Wait, actually, no. Tabby does not have flippers. If they had flippers, they could go to East Dark World and get the Catfish and Pyramid as well.
As we see Arusta make their way through Eastern Palace, taking a death in that dark room, saying, I know where Lamp is. I'll just go get it, and I'll come back and do Pod. Makes perfect sense. As ScruffNinja took down Helmasaur relatively easily.
There's a hook shot in the Graveyard Ledge.
Ooh, that's really good information. We know now that the hookshot is not in Swamp, which means Timp is going to have to double dip, but finds those Titan's mitts in the compass chest.
Wow.
That is
they're opening it up
huge.
quickly.
Yeah, for both teams right now, you're kind of looking at everything going, Titan's mitts are nice, hookshot is nice. If you had both of those together, this would be really nice.
So it all comes down to who goes to the other location first, I think.
As unfortunately for Tim, he does not have any means to get that hookshot key, so he's going to go ahead and do this vanilla style. He's going to be a little upset that he didn't find hookshot in here, but he's going to be super happy he found Titans, because that's going to be a long way off for Hyrule Track and Field, unless Tabbycat prioritizes doing Swamp Palace.
I would expect it for Arusta to go straight and get those mitts as soon as they're able to. Looks like there's still an item to find in Skull Woods as well.
That's interesting. Went and did North Dark World and didn't finish off Skullwood first. I guess if you're looping on back, it doesn't really matter. Just more screen transitions add a little bit of time. That's okay. If you have the hook shot right now, you might be feeling like you're way ahead.
Same could be said for Mitts, actually.
Yeah. As we get dueling Armos fights from Arusta and Mr. Scruff Ninja. Scruff Ninja takes care of the Armos right quick. And Arusta not far behind, going to get rewarded with a full heart and another crystal. Arusta's going to have to mirror or use his mirror portal and get back into pod.
I believe that was a bottle that we just... Yes, a bottle in the Skull Woods.
That means you can loop in the sick kid check in the village when you go down there. I'm sure he's just going to go ahead and clean up Thieves Town, Tabbycat. Just to... Nothing's there, I grab the big key, I go kill blind, and I'm done with it. And then if anything's on green pendant, we're going to be good.
I believe Scruff may be headed for the pyramid and catfish checks. And looks like not much on left side swamp.
Yeah, a loop in right now makes a lot of sense. You can do pyramid if you find for Scruff Ninja a little bit more cash. Scruff Ninja did check Zora, so he knows it's nothing. So this makes a little bit of sense. You know your partner's over on the left-hand side. You might decide, I'm going into swamp with what I've got. I'll go get the hook shot real quick and go do swamp after. As Tim is finally picking up his fire rod.
I think there was a red mail on the sick kid, perhaps?
Looks like
I missed it on the replay, but I see red mail there, so... So where is Timp going to head?
He might be doing King's Tomb right now.
With the mitts in hand.
Oof, that actually might be bad news. That might put off Graveyard Ledge for a while.
Ooh. Got a single rupee from the catfish.
And explosions in King's Tomb. Scruff Ninja is going to go pick up the shovel here that's on the Zora ledge. Good remembering that you had a digging item on that ledge. Now you could be all fait accompli with Zora's domain. Tim looks like he's going to be making his climb back up to get his Master Sword and hit Dark Death Mountain. Not a bad play, just unfortunately you don't have much in the way of hookshot. You only get 3 chests up Dark Death Mountain without it. I guess if you want whatever's on Floating Island, you can grab it as well, but if I remember correctly, it's nothing important.
Yeah, it was mentioned in chat earlier that finding the hookshot might have been a better item to find, and now I'm inclined to agree because the hookshot would lead you to swamp and therefore the mitts.
Yep, and that's where Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna looks like he's going to be heading into, doing some swimming.
But doesn't have the hookshot, actually.
Yeah. Is he...
Maybe doing some extra checks. They can do the dig spot.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be doing Dig Spot, K45, and the flute-playing Stump Man. That just means Tabby doesn't have to go south. They can head right to Swamp Palace when they're done with Thieves Town.
Exactly. Again, good use of the co-op mechanic of these matches.
Yep. Tuna's probably going to be heading into Thieves Town once he's done with these checks, and then go get his hookshot to go into Swamp. And another sword inside of Super Bunny Cave. I think Tim forgot that there was his second sword, which is going to be his third sword, is in the escape sequence. That's right, he picked up the one up on the mountain. Turtle Rock today is going to be Ether Medallion. Now, we do need both medallions for Meyer and Turtle Rock. This is all dungeons, so it'll be interesting to see once our runners have access to Meyer what that medallion's going to be. Yet to find one? Poor Tim! He threw the skull he was supposed to bonk off of at a jellyfish and had to respawn it. And he finds a bee in a bottle.
Just a bottle.
He does have half magic. Ooh, and he decides to orphan Spike Cave. I was going to say he has Cape. As Arusta's going through a Helmasaur fight, we see Tabby taking Blind back to her home, where she's going to transform into an evil, ghoulish monster. Hey, here comes that powder check that I was suggesting is, it's in logic.
Pretty good routing for Mr. Scruff. I would definitely do hook shot and then swamp next.
And
nothing.
Magic Bat just has a little piece of love. As Timp looks like he's going to go get his bow and finish out Pod and Eastern.
Trying to think of anywhere Tabby and Scruff haven't looked yet, and I'm thinking Swamp is pretty much everything that's left.
Yeah, Swamp is the only thing left. If they wanted to be so bold, they could do some weird, strange things that I'm not privy to.
And it looks like Sahaswala just has $5 for the green pendant.
Scruff Ninja is heading back into the Dark World. Let's see if he goes ahead and cleans up some dungeons that he hasn't progressed through. You know your partner is going to be going through Swamp, so that's going to be information for you to have later. Oh, big key's here. This is what you need to grab if there's anything else interesting besides mitts.
Yep, that's pretty good division of duties right there. We're just going to go pick up those mitts.
Hookshot is on Graveyard Ledge, which is where MrScruffNinjaTuna is currently going to fight.
But yeah, as chat's pointing out, finding those mitts without having the hookshot first may lead them away from Graveyard Ledge.
The big difference is if the long shots find the flute, that would give them an advantage in seeing what Meyer is. That would open up Desert Palace for you. That would also open up a whole bunch of stuff in like Ice Palace.
Good point.
So it's not a terrible thing to find those mitts when they did. It just so happens it's going to put them behind and having to do a second swamp dip. There's plenty of time to be made up.
Is Scruff doing the Spike Cave check?
Makes a lot of sense. There's nothing else you can do.
Half magic and cape will make this pretty easy.
Yep. And knowing that all Scruff needs to do currently that's in logic for him is cleaning out dungeons, you can do that a little bit later. Why not go check something that might have something? Like a blue cane.
Is that vanilla?
I believe so.
Yeah, it is vanilla. That's what I thought.
I have never gotten blue cane in any of my Link to the Past runs, so I don't remember.
Yeah, it normally isn't gotten in NMG for sure.
As Arusta's going to pick up their Titan's mitts. Be interesting to see where they go next. Do they go ahead and do Swamp? Or not Swamp, I'm sorry, Ice Palace after this. With Fire Rod, you've got Red Cane, you've got Hammer. You can beat Ice Palace without Hookshot currently, regardless of key layout.
With mitts in hand, yes. Yeah, I could definitely see them going over to Ice Palace. As long as Hook isn't really holding them back too much, which they still have to do Swamp, but if it isn't hiding any other items, it may not be that much of a deficit.
Nope, as Tabbycat's going to be finding those Titan Smiths here momentarily for Hyrule Track and Field.
And then Scruff is going to be right behind him.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. This is where our progression has to be. The only other place it could have been is Imagination Land. As Tim gets ready to fight Helmasaur, we have 3 people currently going through Swamp. 2 of them are going to be able to complete it. Unfortunately for the long shots, they do not have their namesake currently. So they're going to have to make a second attempt here in Swamp Palace. Nothing interesting on left side Swamp, from what we could tell, but we're going to get a look at it anyway.
Tabby with diver down setup.
Now, this one a little bit more tricky to do. You kind of swing your sword until you get 1 pixel inside the railing. Ice Rod is left side Swamp, that's right.
Ah. We missed that earlier.
As Tabby is taking care of these water fleas that are completely annoying. Get some explosions for their trouble. ScruffNinja is going to be going ahead with the left side Swamp check since Tabby's already in the back. Tabby's going to get the bad news. Hey, Ice Rod's there. You gotta go back inside. And they're gonna go.
True, but at least they don't have to go looking for the Ice Rod.
Yep, as we get a Helmasaur fight from Tim. 17 hammer smacks on the helmet as Arusta's going to be going through Smith Chain looking for any sort of progression. Once you get the helmet off of Helmasaur, you shoot him with arrows, you hit him with the sword. Hammer smacks also count.
If the long shots find the flute before the hook shot, that could lead them even further away.
But like you said, if hookshot literally doesn't hide anything, it's really not that bad of a missed check.
That is true.
It's really honestly not even a missed check, it's graveyard ledge. It's so hard to route that in.
Yep, true.
As Tim goes ahead and kills that Helmasaur, dinosaur, dragon, lizard thing easily enough, as we see Tabbycat going through a slideshow fight. Now this is interesting. I generally only do slideshow if I don't have a sword. Fighter sword spins count as double when you hook shot them and let go of that spin as they come in. It is faster than the slideshow, but whichever way you feel comfy, hey, I'm cool with.
Yeah, I need to work those spins in. Apparently, it's a very good strat.
Yeah, it's better than Master Sword swipe strats.
Looks like the blacksmiths were having a sword, another vanilla item.
Hey, that means Arusta's going to have nice, easy boss fights here with that tempered sword.
Nothing on Argus.
I'm going to do Thieves Town. So, Turndon Smith doing Thieves Town. Even though your partner knows nothing's in Thieves Town and they'll tell you nothing's in Thieves Town. Where are you going? This is very interesting. You're going up into Skullwoods? That's not a bad play.
Scruff also setting up Diver down, very nice. Tabby going back in for the Ice Rod. Probably groaning all the way.
Yeah, Arusta here with half magic, fire rod, tempered boots. Mothula will not be much of an issue as long as you keep your distance and stay plenty safe.
I wouldn't be surprised. I believe there was a sword in the front of Escape, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Tabby's going to skip that completely. It's a bit of a trek to go get that, so...
Yeah, with a sword in Super Bunny, there's another sword in Smith's Chain, which you might check. The only time to get that sword in the front of Escape might be if you want to make your Ganon fight easier. You can just mirror right off the pyramid and head inside and head right back up to Ganon. If you haven't found any other sword upgrades, it's kind of what would my thinking be. You have mirror at that point, so it probably saves you enough time to go ahead and do it.
If they don't find silvers, I would imagine they'd go for tempered at the very least.
Yep. As Argus goes down, and so do Armos on the bottom of your screen. MrScruffNinjaTuna getting rewarded with that red pendant, and Timp getting a crystal.
Tabby just about to go get the ice rod.
Be interesting to see where Scruff Ninja goes. I'm imagining he's going to Ice Palace.
Yep.
Fully in logic for you to clear. Quick little dash run over here. Red cane in hand, which means you get the Icebreaker. And you tell Tabby, go do Smith Chain. Or go up the mountain.
Since Arusta's in Skullwoods, it wouldn't be a stretch for them to go to check Graveyard Ledge after this, so we'll see what happens there.
Tabby might be electing to do Pod and Eastern. You know Flute's not there. You can loop Pod and Eastern together once you find the Flute. Nope, gotta check Pyramid and Catfish, I think. Or are they getting their other sword now?
That's possible. Yep, there's a good call.
I say they pulled out the mirror. I'm like, there's only one reason to go to Pyramid now is...
Yeah, Tabby just has a fighter sword, so this is a good upgrade.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure MrScruffNinjaTuna went to check Pyramid and Catfish, so... The only reason to go there is if you're going to go get that sword.
Scruff setting up for Icebreaker.
What MrScruffNinjaTuna is going to be doing is they're going to align themselves in the doorway in a certain way to where they get themselves into what is called a door state. Now, I don't have a scientific enough brain to explain to you what a door state is. I just know what it looks like. They're going to push themselves 1 pixel into that railing, put down a block, move 1 pixel left, and then hold up or down and clip right through that wall. Textbook.
Nicely
from
done.
MrScruffNinjaTuna. Gets rewarded with 300 rupes.
Also cuts at least a minute, possibly 2 or 3 from going through this dungeon.
Oh, it's 2 minutes. Easy.
Okay, you know them.
Plus. Yeah, you can stand at Icebreaker for 90 seconds, screw it up, and still save time. You have to go through so many optional rooms, and you have to do a bomb jump, and if the key layouts aren't nice, you have to go the long way around to Iced Tea. It's not fun.
Yeah, I only recently added it to my arsenal, so no, I'm glad I did.
As it looks like Timp's going to go pick up that shovel and turn in Zora for the long shots.
Nice skating from Scruff, getting into that door easily.
And it looks like Arusta's going to be finding that hook shot here in Graveyard Ledge. They're going to be very happy that they found it. Fortunately for them, so far, there has been no reason to have that hook shot. Everything that was progression in Swamp Palace has been found. That's why
I was going to say Hookshot Cave is still open.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested in Tabbycat doing Eastern and Pod when his partner has already done it. You know, there's no progress there outside the bow.
Checking green pendants. Well, looks like they're going on.
And the second item in Ice Palace is a piece of heart. Okay, Tabby is she/her. Sorry. It's one of those things where I don't know. I apologize. But I will refer to she/her. Tabby is awesome.
So what is left for Go mode? We need Flute for Mire, and then we need the medallion for whatever opens Mire. And we know we need either. And in Turtle Rock, we need either for Turtle Rock for sure.
Yep. That's about it.
As far as required items.
Yeah. We don't know if we need that mushroom to turn in to see if the witches have ruined something. I think we should be okay. We don't know if we need the red crystals to open up Pyramid Fairy. As Mr. Scruff Ninja takes care of Cold Stare with that Fire Rod with a nice spin and gets the third item, another rupee cash of $300. Ice Palace was not our progression.
But apparently was some kind of piggy bank with all those rupees.
Cold, hard cash.
Indeed.
I would imagine MrScruffNinjaTuna is going to be heading up the mountain here. And Arusta is going to be heading into Ice Palace. Timp is probably going to be doing Skullwoods here.
At the very least, getting that hook shot.
Yep, makes perfect sense to go ahead and loop that in with a Skullwoods clear. There's going to be no better time to kind of do it. MrScruffNinjaTuna gets some nice dead rocks and some nice cabbages on the RNG there as Tabby continues her pod clear through, looking for that bow. Gonna go right to Helmosaur. Once she grabs that, grabs a small key, and goes to the back.
So now we'll get to see what's in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, I was going to say, as we hit Super Bunny, which we've already seen, I just want to remind you, you can follow these runners by hitting the exclamation mark R command inside of Twitch chat. That'll bring you directly to their Twitch channels. Go ahead and give them a follow. You need to do the very same thing for your commentating, restream, and our wonderful thankless trackers who just do a wonderful job trying to track 4 people at the same time. Go ahead and give them a follow as well. As we're going to be getting into Hookshot Cave here momentarily with Mr. MrScruffNinjaTuna. Everything else we have seen so far. So our only new progress is going to be through that cave underneath a rock.
Arusta working on Icebreaker.
Yeah, sometimes this can be a little tricky.
It took me a while to get it right, for sure.
Yeah, what I've done is when I go to move and put down the block, I move my thumb in like a sliding motion off my D-pad and put down the block at the same time, and that gets me the 1 pixel every single time.
Nice. I end up using pause buffers. Oh, we just found the Ether Medallion in Hookshot Cave.
Alright, that opens up Turtle Rock. That's actually not a bad place for that Ether Medallion, especially if you're the long shots, because then you can just go right into Turtle Rock.
Speaking of, that's exactly what Scruff is going to do.
As we get him all together fight, he dies real easily with that Master Sword spin, dash, and Fire Rod shot. We get Helmosaur from Tabbycat. 6 smacks of her hammer so far. There's number 10. As Arusta continues through Ice Palace, we get Turtle Rock opened. Mr. Scruff Ninja very, very much ahead when it comes to progression of all the rest of the runners. He will have some makeup that he has to do, but fortunately, Thieves Town, Skullwoods, all of that, he's going to be able to get through really, really quickly.
So I imagine the flute is in here somewhere.
Flute book is a possibility.
Book is possible, this is true. Basically, flute or whatever it has to be gotten to get to the flute.
Yep.
Actually, flute could be at Pyramid Fairy, and we have to complete Turtle Rock to get there.
Yep. Pyramid Fairy is a possibility. Mimic Cave is a possibility.
Yeah, these runners through co-op have done a really good job of covering territory quickly.
If we happen to find a book, Flute could be in Desert Palace for all we know. The only place where we know Flute isn't is Mire. Because one, you need access to it, and two, that's also a pendant, so Pedestal's dead. Because once you find that flute, you have access to Desert Palace, and that's all that we kind of need, unless we need a medallion to open up Mire that isn't Ether, as we find the flute inside of Turtle Rock.
So let's see. If this was me racing, I'd actually just stop right there and go to Mire and see what medallion is needed.
Yeah, you're going to need another mountain climb anyway at this point. And that just kind of gives you the information going forward.
Or perhaps not. You do have to go through a lot of Turtle Rock anyway, so perhaps it's almost better to just go ahead and do it now. And just go ahead and full clear it. I could see either one being a wise decision, so...
Yeah. I would have probably left knowing it's all dungeons anyway, and I want to... I already know I'm going to have to climb up the mountain again to get into GT. Flute was early enough in Turtle Rock, being on the right side of Fire Rod Lock, that I'd be like, okay. The only other thing that could be in here is the Mire Medallion.
Right.
And if the Mire Medallion's in here, you're kind of going, okay, well, I can do Desert Palace, and then I can do Skullwoods, and then I can do Turtle Rock, because the Mire Medallion could be in GT. You don't know. So I would have rather done that. Say, okay, I'm going to clear out my crystals, do Turtle Rock last, and see if the Mire Medallion, if it's not Ether, is in GT.
Good point. And it looks like we've got Tim heading through for Swamp Palace while Arusta takes on Cold Stare. I imagine, well, once Tabby gets done with Pod, they will go up to Turtle Rock. Or are they going up now? Oh, they already did Pod. That was my mistake.
Now, where's Tabby going? Let's see.
That's a good question, actually.
I don't know. Because you know where the flute's at. And that is the thing that's holding your progression. Are you going to go ahead and go do Ice Palace and just kind of clean up? Say, okay, I'll go do Ice. I'll go in, get Turtle Rock's flute, go back out, do Eastern, check Mire, and then be done?
Right. Go into Ice Palace. That was more or less... Well, you probably could have saved and quit and had about the same amount of time to get there.
Knowing where the flute's at, you know you got to get the flute anyway. Probably a little bit faster to go get the flute, activate it, then flute to Ice Palace. But I think at this point, it's 6-1. You're go-moding Ice Palace anyway. So,
yep.
As we see Temp trying to do the bomb setup here. Very tricky. Oh, nope, he's not getting up the ladder quite right that he needs to. You need to be a little bit off-center, right there. And the bomb pushes you right into the railing, and you jump right on down.
Tabby setting up for Icebreaker, it looks like.
As we get a Dark Maze here from MrScruffNinjaTuna. It looks like he skipped Mimic Cave. He's going to leave that for...
I think he did
Tabby
check it, actually.
Okay, did he?
Yeah, it was very quick.
Okay. Wow, that's a quick Mimic Cave. Okay. I was just saying, is he leaving that for Tabby in case that's not the right medallion that they are looking for? Small key laser bridge on the very bottom. I'm gonna get our second laser bridge check. It's a heart container. Third one on the left-hand side is a map. And our fourth one, top right, is the book.
A book, huh? That opens up the tablets.
Yeah, I would imagine MrScruffNinjaTuna is going to be going left here after doing Turtle Rock, just to check that tablet in case it is a medallion. Meyer can be ether, but the more medallions you have in your pocket, the better you feel.
Yeah, I'm starting to like finishing Turtle Rock so that you have the Pyramid Fairy open in case you need to check it.
As we get an Argus kill here from Tim. Argus is, again, one of those enemies that is a matter of when, not if, for the majority of runners.
Nice use of quick swap on Scruff to take care of both heads before the ice head got funny ideas about spraying ice around.
As Tabby's going to be entering into her Cold Stare fight momentarily. As Arusta is going to be...
Hi-yo, silvers.
Nice placement on the silvers.
Tempered sword and silvers makes Ganon a pretty easy fight.
You can tell Tabby, hey, you can pick up a sword in Super Bunny if you want, or, you know, silvers are on Trinex.
Or both.
Yeah. Super Bunny, especially if you come from the top, is not that long of a check.
It's actually quite convenient. Plus they need to do Hookshot Cave to get the ether anyway, so...
MrScruffNinjaTuna is going to be activating their flute. We're going to get a Meyer check immediately. MrScruffNinjaTuna is hoping, beyond hope, that Ether Medallion is the medallion to open up what is the least favored dungeon in all of Randomizer.
Although, fortunately, they'll be able to go mode it, because once they're in Meyer, they don't need any more items at all.
Yep. At worst, you're able to go ahead and do the Desert Palace and say, okay, I'm just going to commit to GT having the medallion.
There is the small matter of the Meyer Big Key, though, which could still be fire-locked.
Not that big of a deal. They have fire source.
True. Now, let's see what this medallion is.
Here we go, chat. Is it going to be good or bad news? Let's see. It's bad news. It's Bombos locked. We are on a Bombos hunt for go mode.
There's a few locations in this Meyer area plus desert area.
As Tabby elects to go ahead and get that sword from Super Bunny Cave. Again, this makes a lot of sense. You're right here. It's such a good upgrade to have.
Yep. I would definitely do that. I mean, doing any kind of sword spins on Ganon is not fun to start with, so.
We are looking for that multiple wave coin. That is Bombos.
So we started with the bottleneck, and now we're ending with the bottleneck.
Yeah, that kind of flips the tables here for the long shots to kind of make up some time, depending upon where that Bombos is.
Hard to tell if the late hook shot hurt them in this case. I mean, they did have to double dip Swamp in that case, but aside from that...
As Scruff Ninja goes through, finds the two items in Desert. Bombos is not in the Desert Palace. It's somewhere else.
And he checked, I believe he checked under the rock, so yeah, it's somewhere else. We haven't checked the purple chest, and we can also check the tablets now as well.
Looking like the Meyer Medallion is going to be in GT somewhere. Just odds are saying that. That doesn't mean it's guaranteed. It's just the most likely.
Very true.
As Tabby gets some frustration swipes out on her end.
Yeah, I think going to GT to find the Bombos is the smarter play.
Well, since this is co-op, you can say whomever is ahead, hey, go hit GT, or hey, go hit the Pyramid Fairy real quick before you go into GT.
Good point.
I'll get the purple chest and tablets, except for the one up the mountain. You go grab that one.
That's where the co-op comes in handy. You can divide the duties and get the stuff checked really quickly.
We checked hammer packs. There was nothing. Smith was another sword. The only thing in that chain we have not seen is chest, and if you want to count the tablet as well. As Arusta's going to be getting their butter sword here momentarily. MrScruffNinja is going to go check checkerboard here.
I'm not sure. Oh, I was just looking at the crystals to see if Tabby could go straight to GT, but no, they need to do desert, and they had to come to TR first. So
yeah, TR holding desert access both with that flute and the book.
That's pretty bad. And apparently Scruff did not check checkerboard until just now, but it was a piece of heart. So. They are off to take down Skull Woods to get that 7th crystal, and then likely go up to GT looking for Bombos.
Yep. I would be weighing right now. Pyramid Fairy is literally a minute of time to sink into it, which is less time than doing 2 mountain climbs in case the Meyer medallion is not in GT.
What you could do, routing-wise, is you get the purple chest, you take care of that, then take care of the Bombos tablet, and then do the Pyramid Fairy, so you could route all those in together.
Yeah, it's a hard call. There are so many checks in GT that it's in GT most of the time here.
Yep.
But you always have those what-ifs.
Yep. I think we're going to see a flip. I think Tabby's going to end up doing the purple chest run, and then Scruff will go for GT.
Yeah, Scruff is so far ahead right now in crystals, he just has to kill Mothula, and then he has GT access.
That's what I'm thinking. These 2 teams are actually not too far away from each other in terms of progress.
Yeah, the only one that's super far ahead is ScruffNinjaTuna. And that clearly gives the advantage to Hyrule Track and Field. Just unfortunate that the long shots ended up going into Swamp Palace without hookshot. Found the Titan's Mitts, which I'm sure they felt like was a good dip, and the Ice Rod. Just unfortunate that the hookshot locked your Turtle Rock entrance, and that was on Graveyard Ledge.
True.
That Moth is being a jerk.
I mean, it's Moth.
He's hiding up in spikes, canceling out those Fire Rod shots.
Fortunately, Scruff was far better equipped to deal with the Moth.
And Arusta here takes a Death Warp. Are they going to go activate that flute, or was that an accidental death drop? Nope, gonna complete Turtle Rock. Makes sense here. More than likely, you're thinking, alright, if we don't have the Meyer medallion, it's in GT. We're gonna find out very shortly from MrScruffNinjaTuna. It'll be very, very intriguing to see if the long shots decide, well, you know, if we feel behind and the Meyer medallion's in GT, but if it's not, and we do all of the other checks first, and they gamble GT, we can make up some time. Also, yes, it's time to play the GT Big Key guessing game 1 through 22. Put your guess in the chat now where you think that GT Big Key is going to be. We are following MrScruffNinjaTuna. We're going to go ahead and take his count 1 through 22. If you want to put in a guess for where we think the Meyer medallion's at, that's 1 through 27. And you can put a 0 down if you don't think the Meyer medallion is inside GT.
Do you have any guesses there?
I always guess for the key 14, and I'm going to say this seed is rude and that Meyer medallion is on Pyramid Fairy.
I'm going to say the medallion is 25, and the big key is, oh, I don't know, I'll say 3 for the torch.
Tim having to fight Trinix here with a Master Sword. He did not get the sword upgrade from, I believe, either Super Bunny or Escape Sequence.
We just got a check of either tablet, and it did not have bombos.
Tabby's going to be turning in her flute to summon the magical, majestic, flying space duck. Gonna head over to desert to clear it out, and then I am going to assume up to GT.
That's 3 chests down, no big key yet.
Four, 5, 6, and 7 are going to be in the Dark Magician's room.
Nothing yet.
With that amount of keys, you could argue to go ahead and go right. He's electing to go ahead and go full left. It makes perfect sense. Let your partner go left. If the key is there, no problem. Clear out the side that has more density.
And that is 8 checks so far.
And Simpsons finds the blue cane in Spike Cave. I'm sure they're going, okay. Where is what we need? They don't know they need bombos. They're going to find out here very shortly what they'll do. And it's Tabbycat's going to be doing the Smith chain. We know Hammer Pegs has nothing. We know Jeremiah has nothing. We know the powder check has nothing. We don't know what the purple chest has. We don't know what the Bombos tablet has. It'd be very funny if Bombos was vanilla. 9, 10, 11, and number 12.
Actually, I think that was 13.
13. Our winner was me, because I guess 14. Yay!
Well done.
I always guess 14 because it's either Bob's chest or the first chest in the randomizer room.
Interestingly, though, they'll have to continue checking to get that Bombos medallion.
So yeah, we're still doing a pseudo guessing game. 14 coming up here for the Bombos. Actually going to be checking the big chest first. Just a heart. 15 is going to be Bob's chest.
As heads up, I didn't even think of checking that chest there.
Yeah, it's in logic and can have that Meyer medallion. Tip telling Arusta that, hey, yeah, we need Bombos. 16, 17, 18 are going to be behind the Ice Armos.
Silver arrows coming in handy. Oh dear. Was that intentional?
That may have been intentional, because now he can go full right, check the compass rooms, and then say, oh, okay, you just have to go right to get the...
That may be it. Yeah, it's possible that wasn't intentional.
you know, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes you can, you know, big brain this stuff.
Although I could make the case for it being accidental, as Mirror is right next to the silvers. I'll play devil's advocate there.
As Timp and Arusta are going to be playing some catch-up to get crystals here. We are going to get our Pyramid Fairy check.
So this is check 16?
16.
Right.
17, 18, 19, and 20 are going to be in the compass room. May not be necessary, because we may find bombos here in Pyramid Fairy. Nope.
I believe that's GT then.
Yep, it's somewhere in GT, in the climb, or here in the basement. That is bad news for the long shots. 19 coming up, and 20. There it is. Yep, Scruff Ninja just has to go right first, then go left to go get your big key.
So I'm trying to remember what number that was. 18?
That was 19.
19, okay.
So the big brain, not having to kill Arbos and check those chests.
Yeah, that was a great big brain play on the on behalf of Scruff Ninja. We will ask them about that in the after race interview.
Yeah, definitely gonna not present that question in a condescending way. Hey, so that Arbos play, switching the mirror there, that was a big brain.
I'd love to hear your reasoning behind that.
We all do dumb things like that in our scenes.
Oh, heck yes.
Heck, my partner forgot to grab a small key going up GT in our race Tuesday. He lucked out, though, in having a small key in the Helmosaur room.
Oof.
Even after I told him, hey, Hope Room has 2 small keys if you need it.
As Scruff makes their way through the gauntlet.
Yep, Tabby's gonna get the good news. Go do Desert and come up to GT. We're gonna do Mire last. Hope it's a Godmire, and go fight a pig.
Looks like Scruff still hasn't done Thieves Town, though, so...
That'll be nice and quick for Scruff.
Not as quick as you'd like, though. It's still a convoluted way to first get the big key, then go up to the attic, bomb the floor, then go get blind, then take them back to the boss room.
Yeah, this is a lot closer than it seems. Scruff Ninja is well ahead of everyone else, but Tabby's right in tread with the long shot, so if Scruff has some difficulty with Moldorm 2, Ganon takes a death on the Aga 1 climb, you can see this gap close immediately.
Tim with the hammer on Cold Stare does a nice job.
Do want to remind you, as we're watching this GT climb for MrScruffNinjaTuna and all of our already done checks, you could check out the ALTTPR Team Race League Season 3, the Invitational League all across Speed Gaming and the Speed Gaming Network channels. You can do the same for the Open season as well. That's going to be all across the ALTTPR League channels. Make sure you check out the schedule at the ALTTPRleague.com to see when and where your favorite runners are going to be racing.
Yeah, until the long shots finally get to GT and find where Bombos is, they're going to be lagging a bit, especially in terms of information. Looks like Tim is going to go ahead and open up the pyramid. We'll be disappointed to find absolutely nothing there.
Yeah, and at that point you'll know that, oh, ends up in T.
Yep.
Like, I'm gonna have to go do desert.
Although, looking at Arusta's current progress, they're actually about to finish desert and then go up to GT, it looks like.
As we get an AGA 2 fight here for MrScruffNinjaTuna. Now, all of the runners are going to have the same RNG for AGA 1, AGA 2, and the pig, and gets a nice... I do believe that was a triple.
Looked like it.
MrScruffNinjaTuna, unfortunately, gets blue-balled on the second cycle.
Very nice. Some bonks to show frustration for the lack of a double triple.
Now let's see if MrScruffNinjaTuna decides to go ahead and do AGA 1 here, or go and finish Meyer real quick and head and get that refill at the end of AGA 1 to go into Ganon. He does have 13 hearts and half magic. He's more than armed enough to go ahead and be done with everything. It would just be player preference at this point. And he's going to go do AGA 1.
And Arusta making their way up Death Mountain, while Tabby is opening Ganon's tower. Or has already worked their way inside, I should say. Meanwhile, Tim is running the blacksmith chain, still looking for bombos.
He's going to get his tempered sword here real quick.
And now everyone is at least on tempered sword, and everyone has silver arrows.
Yeah, right now, even if you upgrade all of your equipment, the long shots are significantly behind.
Very much so.
They're going to need a little bit of misfortune for Hyrule Track and Field for them to catch up in any significant mean.
Yeah. Arusta still needs to find the Bombos medallion before they know where everything is. Actually, they still need to find the big key as well, which was on the left side. And in Rendo Room, no less.
Well, it looks like Arusta's going to be finding that Bombos medallion first. If you find a small key... Nope, going left. Okay. Generally, if I find a small key in Hope Room, I go right first.
I do the same.
And then say after Compass Room, I'm good. I'll go left now.
It's possible that they may go all the way to Rando Room and then, well, purposefully mirror back to the entrance.
No, you got to big brain it by mirroring at Ice Armos.
Right.
Scruff enters into his AGA 1. You get to guess how many blue balls he's going to see starting now. New blue ball there.
I'm guessing 4.
I'm going to go with 7.
You bad man.
Why not give me a 3 cycle? There's 2.
Of course, that first fireball after the lightning is always guaranteed.
One more blue ball and it will guarantee another cycle.
There it is.
Alright, that's number 3. Let's see another blue ball here. Let's hear number 4.
Yep. Scruff doing a little shuffle of frustration there. Will it be 5?
Let's see, I can only hope.
No, 4 indeed was how many blue balls there were.
As Timp takes care of his Lamolas in Desert Palace, gets his final crystal. Going to be making their GT climb momentarily.
Arusta about to find the big key.
Yeah, I hear that the big key is in Rando Room. I'm making my way to Armos now.
And Scruff going for Meyer first, and then they'll do Thieves Town, and then head for Ganon.
Yep, 2 more dungeons for Mr. Scruff Ninja, and he'll be like, whew! This seed!
Also, doing Aga 1 was kind of smart in that it opens up the portal at the castle gate, so they can easily jump over to Ganon.
Absolutely. Timp is going to be using the Heavy Rock portal here, not the Turtle Rock entrance, to go ahead and go through 2 GT. I'm going to be using a hookshot clip here to pass through this tile. Little tricky.
Nicely done.
Sometimes you just don't set up on the right pixel and you get pushed left. You can easily get through that by using the mirror and tile deletion, but he was already on that hook shot. And no Godmire today. And Arusta going with the conventional means of killing Ice Armos. Getting into a little bit of trouble there. Got stuck in the corner. But that silver arrow is going to take him down in one shot. You find bombs, a roop, and more arrows behind the Ice Armos.
Hard to beat that big brain play of mirroring while you're fighting Ice Armos.
Yeah, Timp knows that he's got to go left first or go right because Bombos is there as well. Gonna have to go left anyway because the big key's in randomizer room.
A little bit of sync here on the long shot side.
Yep, Arusta's going to be doing the tile room check. Timp's going to go into the compass room.
Again, good use of co-op. If I remember correctly, for co-op you have a voice channel and you're also allowed to share a document. And I believe that's all they're allowed to use.
Well, I just use a voice channel.
I think they can... Go ahead.
I don't cheat with those dark room maps or anything.
I probably should.
I get good. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone who runs this is awesome. I love everyone who runs this game. As Timp finds that Bombos medallion inside the compass room, it's going to go left and get their big key in randomizer room. And Arusta had a little bit of issue with this torch room here. This room is super easy to get as long as you commit to the same movement every single time. If for whatever reason you get off a little bit, it can totally mess up your torch timings. With that butter sword, he's able to melt those Gibdos, shove that block into him as well.
Scruff enjoying the use of silvers on Vitreous, takes care of those small eyeballs and the big eyeball very quickly.
Now again, this still can be a race if, for whatever reason, Tabbycat has significant issues in any of the rest of her dungeons. The long shots can make up time. As Tabby takes care of Aga 2, she's going to be doing Aga 1. Go to Meyer, complete Meyer, knowing exactly where that big key is going to be.
I missed where it was, but I don't think it was fire locked.
No, I don't think so.
Or maybe it was the easy firelock, not the cutscene firelock
Yeah,
chest.
it definitely wasn't in the cutscene chest, nor was it over on the right-hand side.
Chad is informing us it was in the lobby.
Nothing like having your big key in the lobby. And as we're going to watch MrScruffNinjaTuna cut through all of Thievestown with that bacon sword.
And Tim has all the items they need for the rest of the game. Arusta will... Oh, Arusta also has all the items they need. I missed that on the tracker there.
Yep, we're in full go mode. The right-hand side of your screen is just going to need to complete GT, do AGA 1, and go do Misery Mire. Scruff Ninja is finishing out his last dungeon. Tabby's just starting her AGA 1 clear. So right now, the trailing member of Hyrule Track and Field is approximately... GT Climb is so long, I would say 2 dungeons ahead.
Could be.
And GT Climb, even armed to the teeth, is 5 minutes minimum. And then you have to do AGA 1 and you have to do Mire.
Yeah, I think for whenever I climb GT, it takes at least 7. I'm sorry, to go all the way through Ganon takes at least 7 or 8 minutes. So
Flip Hill,
5 or 6.
There is a guaranteed key on Helmasaur, but it looks like Timp does not have one on the climb. I do not remember if there's a key in the Helmasaur room because the left-hand side of your screen did not check it. There is not a key in the switch room before Moldorm 2, and I think verification chest is not a small key.
We didn't find a whole lot of keys down below, though, so perhaps there is one in the climb.
As Tabby enters into her AGA 1 fight, ScruffNinjaTuna grabs Blind, gonna bring her right to that illuminated room on the first floor. She's gonna let out a big hiss, and yeah, we're gonna have ourselves a blind fight. And Arusta and Timp are essentially 2 rooms apart on the GT climb. As I've seen a lot of people do this bonk strat with the spikes, and I always say, hey, if you have powder, you're getting a refill in the next room anyway. Just eat the hit and stand at that bomb.
I usually just walk down and bait the big spike to move.
Yeah, there's literally no difference in time, and you get 1 less bonk counted against you. And that's always more important.
Very important. We just found Quake.
And do we get a small key here?
No.
Timp's gonna have to go back downstairs.
As chat points out, the final chest apparently can't be a small key.
And I don't think this one is a small key.
Sure enough. Not sure where they're going, though.
Yeah, that's a good question. There's you have to complete GT anyway.
Meanwhile, Scruff is taking on Ganon and clearing all the way down to the 4th phase easily enough. Manages to get a silver arrow in before all the tiles disappear. And Arusta takes care of Aga 2 and heads for the pyramid, only to go back to take care of Aga 1. Not a time paradox, we don't think.
And Scruff Ninja takes care of Ganon very easily with that tempered sword and silvers. Get your GGs in the chat for MrScruffNinjaTuna, who finishes the seed in first place with an official time in racetime.gg of 1 hour, 38 minutes, 45 seconds. Scruff was kind of ahead for most of this seed. He found a lot of the progression and was able to get everything nice and put together in what was a pretty linear seed.
And it looks like we've been joined by Mr. Scruff here in our booth.
So, Mr. Scruff, I have one question for you and one comment first. You had a big brain play there on the Ice Armos,
Very
using
big.
your mirror halfway through the fight to then go right to find your Bombos medallion. Tell me what size your brain is and how many wrinkles it has.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to blame that on Galaxy Brain and not my fingers flipping and hitting the right mouse button.
See,
That was purely
swap is
accidental. It is. I quick swapped a mirror. The reason why is I normally do that after launching the last arrow, and I noticed that the arrow missed. So I was like, oh, I'll just shoot another one. Wait, I've already switched the mirror. Crap.
Oops.
See, everyone was giving you guff about that, and I said, you know what? He big-brained it. He's going right. He knows the Bombos is over there.
I really lucked out.
I could not share the faith on that one.
Oh man, that's a fun thing too. I was talking with Tabby the entire time. At first, we were like, "All right, there's no way that flute is going to be in Pyramid Fairy. It's got to be in GT. It's got to be in GT." And I find the flute in Turtle Rock, and she's like, yeah." And I was like, "It's Bombos. Bombos has got to be in GT." She's like, yeah. And that's when I decided, like, okay, fine. We'll do it this way. I'll go to GT. You do overworld checks. Since I've got, like, super easy dungeons to full clear here, and you still have to catch up a little bit, I'll just do this. It's like, alright, that's fine. Go through the entire thing thinking, crap, she's right, it's gonna be in Pyramid Fairy. She just gets there as I'm finishing up Tile Room. She's like, hey, it's not in Pyramid Fairy. I'm like, oh.
As we watch Tabby finish out her last dungeon to make that pig vulnerable, she's going to be hopping over to the pyramid momentarily and buttering up some bacon for us in that Ganon fight. She's going to have a nice, easy time and taking care of that pig as Arusta finishes out his Aga 1. Now, Timp, unfortunately, did not have a small key as he was climbing up GT, and there were none to be found on the climb. Elected, instead of going to get that small key, go ahead and finish out Meyer and head back up to GT when they're all done. Finish out Aga 1 when they're done with the Ganon's Tower, and then fight a pig.
That's just a big oof. I saw that happen and I was just like, oh no, that's gonna suck.
Oh, looks like Tabby, although taking a death, did have a fairy in reserve.
Yeah, with your butter sword, you got mail. If you know you have a fairy, you just become as aggressive as you can and just try and kill them as fast as you can.
Definitely.
I'm gonna spoil something real quick before she gets a chance to come in and say it. She actually took that death on purpose because she had the fairy. She was telling me, I'm gonna die. You know what? Screw it. I want health.
I would think even with Ganon, you wouldn't be foolhardy enough to go for that without knowing you have a fairy in reserve.
It's great too because she didn't have that ferry going up the climb, and I was like, hey, just, book it. We can make it, because I wasn't watching race time, so I didn't know if we were ahead or behind. She was like, no, I'm picking up my safety room. Like, why? That's silly. Wasting time. No, I'm going to do it.
Clearly, she knew better.
As Tabby takes care of that evil magician pig we call Ganon, gonna be climbing up the hardest part of randomizer, the stairs, and finishes with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 30 seconds. Officially getting the win for Hyrule Track and Field, taking the sweep in week 1 of the ALTTPR Open League. Congratulations.
And we are joined by Tabby here in the booth.
GG's.
So we asked MrScruffNinjaTuna about his big brain play. Did he tell you about his big brain play in Ice Armos?
Oh yeah. If I recall correctly, there was a couple of expletives, and I just hit a button, and this is bad. Whatever. I'm just gonna go right. This might work. I don't know.
Are you telling me it wasn't a big brain play?
Absolutely not. He was so mad.
I would have been too.
Somebody who quite literally had that happen yesterday in my race. Like I was just doing the SG daily, and I was doing the climb, and I mirrored instead of using arrows. I was like, oof, I did that yesterday.
So really the big difference in this race was you guys were able to find the hook shot significantly earlier than the long shots. They ended up dipping into Swamp Palace to find the Titans earlier. It's just that hookshot held the Turtle Rock medallion, so they had to wait until basically last locationing that to get Turtle Rock access to get Desert. So what was kind of the thinking when you guys decided to go ahead and do Graveyard Ledge versus going into a Swamp Palace dip?
Well, Skull just leads you to Graveyard Ledge in my run-ins. Usually I just I go, okay, Scruff, I'm gonna go north, and you go do what you're gonna do. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going south. So that's pretty much what we did.
Yeah, about that time, since I'd gotten the hammer, I was ready to go ahead and do pod. I can clear pod uber quick. I was not expecting that bow at all, but I was like, all right, I'd rather do bowless pod than have to worry about hookless swamp. So I'm gonna go ahead and check all these, found the bow, completed those. That's when I heard from Tabby that she found the hook shot, and it was like, damn, that's where we need to go.
Yeah.
Bit of an oof here from Tim's progress on GT. They forgot a small key going upwards and did not find a spare. They had to go through Tile Room to get a small key.
Oof.
Oh, that's right. That was the last small key.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so rude.
And about Tim leaving GT to do Meyer, it actually makes sense now, because now, once they finish GT, they'll end up on the Pyramid, do Aga 1, Ganon, and out. So it actually makes some sense. But yeah, having to go through Tile Room to get that last key, that was a big oof.
As we see Vitreous go down with silver arrows from Arusta here. Nice, easy 2 arrows to the big eyeball, 1 single shot for all the small ones. Picks up their pendant and is going to head right to Ganon.
Were there any other moments that stood out in the seed for y'all that were panic-inducing or very lucky?
Mothula not getting off the spikes made me very angry.
Yeah, I saw that.
Very, very angry. I'm like sitting here going, hey, I'm like, Scruff, I just shot Mothula 12 times. I just shot him 12 times and he is not dead, and he just killed me.
Mine was the Helmasaur fight. I've got a couple of friends that love to rag on me during these races. One in particular is a mod. And, of course, they're like, oh, you're gonna die. You're so gonna die. You've got half a heart going into Helmet. You're gonna die. You're dead. Just watch. It's gonna happen.
And it did. I don't think it did it?
No, it didn't. They were so disappointed.
Oh,
I'm usually the
Arusta
one
has
that
to
rides on
finish
an
Swamp Palace. I forgot that he hasn't done Swamp Palace yet.
Oh, that's gotta suck, yeah. Because if he went and found the Titan's mitts and the ice rod without that hook shot, then oof, that is gonna stink.
Yeah, the fact that they went into Swamp before getting the hook shot in this particular case meant a double dip for them, so. And then add into Tim's unfortunate episode with the small key. And that it just didn't go well for them in this case.
So are there any weeks coming up in this race season that you guys are kind of looking forward to? It sounds like you guys really like doing the co-op stuff. Anything with like mystery or...
Spoiler. 110%. Last season, Tabbycat carried us to victory that week. She is a goddess when it comes to spoiler co-op. I don't know like what goes on inside her head. I kid you not. Like, okay, the whole premise of the spoiler, and for everyone watching, you really want to watch this because it's entertaining. Normal spoilers, you get 15 minutes to sit there and plot your course. With the co-op spoiler, it's bam. The moment you start running is the moment your pilot gets that piece of paper. And she's able to figure out an entire route in like 3 minutes, start to finish.
But yeah.
That's right, it's pilot. I
yeah.
forgot about that part. It's a pilot race. I forgot about that part. I haven't done that kind of tournament, so
I'm excited. It's going to be awesome.
I mean, I really like spoilers in general. Like I did the spoiler tournament, and it's like that's pretty much where execution is king there. And while my execution is not as good as it needs to be, it's getting better, but it's not where it should be for that. I can route a normal spoiler log like 8 minutes usually from start to finish, but with them, I'm like, hey, do this, and then by the time they usually get done with one thing, I've got it down or close enough to it. But you'll find a map or two. It's great.
I'm looking forward to that.
Also the queen of maps.
As we get an AGA 2 fight here for Tim. I'm sure he wanted to have that done about 10 minutes ago. Getting through it now as Argus is going down for Arusta here in Swamp Palace. Now Tip is going to have to go through AGA 1 as well. But with Tempered Sword, Half Magic, Silver Arrows, it's going to be a piece of cake.
Sorry to jet, but I've actually got to go get dinner started. So, GG's everybody.
I gotta go take care of this hubby of mine, so I'm gonna go as well. But GG's, and looking forward to the rest of the league here.
GG's. Looking forward to your next race.
All right, and we're gonna finish it out here with Tim P and Arusta here with the long shots. Not much left to go in the seed. We'll see if they want to jump on in and have comments about the seed afterward. As we get a pig fight on your very top right of the screen, Butter Sword, Silver Arrows. This pig's going to die super fast. 6 swipes in each of the phases. To start phase 1 and 2. You just kind of poke him. He goes down. He can't stand it. Buttering up that bacon.
Butter and bacon is quite a lethal combination.
Uses that cape to the fullest extent that he can. 4 swipes here in phase 3 as your pig enemy warps himself all around the arena. Once you hit phase 4, it's 1 swipe and as many arrows as you can let loose, hoping to get doubles and triples. Silver Arrows, oh no, his weakness. What are we going to do?
Again, and spoiling the torch glitch by warping right next to that torch. Good double, though.
Luckily, half magic, fire rod, you're going to be able to light your torch super easily. You just need to watch where that pig is. Sometimes he likes to jump on you. Sometimes you jump and shoot him with more arrows.
Well done.
As Arusta takes care of our evil pig. You get your GGs in the chat as Arusta finishes with a race time GG of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 30 seconds.
Almost exactly 10 minutes after Tabby.
As we're watching Tim here finish up, he's got a, 6 blue ball wizard fight ahead of him?
4 blue balls.
4 blue balls.
And we are joined by Arusta. GG's.
Thank you. That was quite a location for that hook shot.
Yeah,
Never liked doing hook with swamp.
Yeah, you guys had those Titans mitts super early. It's just unfortunate that anything that the Titans mitts gave you was also hook shot locked.
Yeah.
That was just unfortunate order of finding.
Kind of go through the beginning of the seed if you can. The hammer being in the basement of Hera, Moon Pearl being on the right-hand side, glove early. Kind of like go over your thought process as you were going, lamp here, great, fire rod, ooh, that's nice, but not really useful right now.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing we were thinking is something that we'd sort of planned on advance is like, because this had cost us in our previous race with Hyrule Track and Field, was just, if we could split up, if we found that, hey, Aga is a good way to get to Dark World, just split that up, rush that super early, since in all dungeons it doesn't really cost you all that much since you have to do it anyways. But then when Timp went up there and found everything, I wanted to finish off everything I could on just so that we weren't in the exact same part of the Dark World at the same time. And then I think the biggest thing is just we ended up doing a lot of checks that, a lot of the overworld checks ended up not paying off at all that we ended up doing.
Yeah, the big thing was Scruff was so far ahead of everyone else. He had all the progression in front of him because he was able to find that hook shot with Tabby super early. So they were just able to boom, 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 boom right on through. That hook shot was the real big deal breaker there.
So did they get it? Did Scruff get that before they even dipped swamp or anything?
Yeah, they had that super early. Once they Tabby went and did Skullwoods, and then went and did North Dark World.
That explains a lot of the time difference. We were wondering,
Scruff
what the big difference was, and that's definitely it, because we ended up having to double dip swamp, and swamp double dips are never fun.
Yeah, Thieves Town was Scruff's last dungeon that he did. That's how far ahead he was. He was able to go into Mire, say, okay, here's your big key, Tabby, and here's where all the stuff is in GT. Ironically enough, you guys might not have seen it, but Scruff went right first and then went full left. He went to Armos, and on the last Ice Armos, he quick swapped to Mirror and mirrored out, so he didn't check the stuff behind Ice Armos.
Oof.
So he just ended up going right to find the Bombos.
Which is really, what you needed from the right, and then...
So it was funny. Everyone was ragging him. I said, nope, it's a big brain play. He knows that Bombos is on right-hand side. He knows it.
Yeah, we'll just call it that.
As we're watching Timp finish up his pig fight here. Silver arrows, bacon sword, gonna be nice and quick. Oop, takes a bat to the face. Those aren't nice. And that's okay. He's got Silver's back out. He's got the pig moving around like a jerk. Just can't take any more hugs or any more bats. That's no bueno. And unfortunately for Tim, he ended up having a key short going up the GT climb with that last small key in tile chest, so I'm sure he was getting frustrated with the seed, as it seemed like all of you guys were. As GG's in the chat for Tim, he finishes with a race time GG, official clock at 1:57:46.
GG's to both of you.
My question is, I think, Arusta, you went and did Pod and Eastern while you still had checks ahead of you. What kind of went through your head in doing those dungeons when you knew there was nothing in there but bow?
I did not. No, I went in first.
Okay.
When I went in, I knew there was nothing but lamp in Eastern, but we had, neither of us had done the touch pod at all. So that's why I went in there, because I figured, hey, if I find bow, one, there's always, pod has 5 items, so there's a good chance there's something there anyways. And I'm like, if I find bow, this would really work out well. And I would let Timp know, hey, whether or not he needed to push it or not. And I think when Timp ended up going, it was just we were sort of running low on. Timp was running low on checks that he could do, so it was just sort of, hey, do something productive for a few minutes while we do this.
Mm-hmm. Now I do know there was a death in the dark room. I think that was for you, right? I swear it was.
I took a death in the dark maze. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And that's why I ended up. If you saw, I did the dark maze. Then I went back to Eastern, just because I was planning on playing it out through. Once I found the bow there, I'm like, okay, at this point, I can do the dark. Once I took that death, it's like, well, at this point, I'm teleporting back to the start anyways. I'm going to go ahead and just get the lamp and make the rest of my the bottom part easier for me.
That was what was in my brain.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering what made you go ahead and say, well, I'll take lamp. I know it makes that turtle room easier, but you did have fire rod to light that torch.
I did, and my thought was, if I'd survived the dark room, I would have just kept going. But at that point, it's like, what? I've already taken a death. Lamp doesn't really cost me a whole lot of time outside of, walking outside, hitting the mirror, and then having to hit the portal again, because I had to do Eastern anyways. So it's like, it'll probably save me time that it's worth it. Just even though I do know how to do the fire rod turtle room, since I have to do it anyways, and since I just took a death, I didn't have a lot of saves at that point. Let's just be conservative here. Go a little slower to go quicker overall.
Makes sense to me. I was just curious about it. Always good to hear different perspectives on those types of things, as we have a lot of people who run this, and maybe we have some new timers in the ALTTPR league chat that want to hear how to burst through a seed. Really, anything else about the seed that kind of stood out for you?
Nothing for me. I mean, the big thing was that Bombos. We were trying to debate how far we wanted to take going through anything else before we got to GT. It ended up working out that, and that's why, if you wonder why I left 2 dungeons till the end, not just Mire, but Swamp, because we already knew Swamp was nothing. We had the Bombos tablet sitting out there, so it's like, well, the odds are way in favor of it being in GT. Let's do this. If it ends up that it's not there, then fine, we'll do Swamp. I'll pick it up at the same time I do Swamp, but...
That sounds like pretty good planning.
Yeah, I mean, there were, 22 checks in GT and just scattered checks elsewhere, so... In a seed, in an all dungeon seed where we knew in advance it could be potentially in GT, it's like, well, 22 checks versus going everywhere for individual ones just seems to make, play the odds.
All right, well, thank you very much for racing the seed against Hyrule Track and Field. You guys put up a good show, just in a seed that had a couple of rude item placements and low percentage plays. Remember, you can follow the runners by hitting the !R command in chat. That will give you links directly to their Twitch pages. You can do the same for the commentating team, tracking, and restreaming team by hitting the !C command. I want to thank to our tracking team, Mindful Beast and Tyler Salt, for that. Good luck to you guys, the long shots, in the future in the race league. Unless you're racing my team, at which point I hope I decimate you.
This guy.
Are you in our division? I think you might.
I think we are in the same division. Yeah, so
so I have to watch this back and find out what you talked about me and get revenge.
Well, remember, race fans, we do have races currently going on, Speed Gaming 1 and 2 for the rest of this evening. As you see the schedule up there, currently going on Speed Gaming 2, we have the Fendrana Drifters versus the Immortals. Later on Speed Gaming 2, we have Bomb Squad versus Pug Trio. and CLW versus Utane Clan on Speed Gaming 1. And then we have a whole bunch of stuff going throughout the whole weekend. So if you love Link to the Past Randomizer, this weekend and going forward for the next 7 weeks is the best time to check out any and all of your favorite runners, which you can check out the schedule at the ALTTPR League.com. Any last thoughts, Mr. Old Man Sunshine?
Oh, not really. These racers did a really great job with their co-op. It's just a little bit of rando luck that caused a winner and a loser.
Yep, as I say, we never root for anyone to lose, but we gotta have a winner.
But like you said, we should definitely give a follow for the runners, and if you have a chance, also give a follow to my co-commentator, Worldwide Wimpy.
Thank you very much. And for myself and my co-commentator, Old Man Sunshine, thank you very much for joining us for this race, and hope you guys have a good start of your weekend.
GG's.